Chair, members of the committee, good morning. As the chair noted, this is HB 1582. It involves compensation to David Kingrey under our well-established statutes here in Virginia for compensating Virginians who've been found to be wrongfully incarcerated. Briefly, I think the bill sort of speaks for itself, but Mr. Kingrey was convicted in 2014 of taking indecent liberties with a minor, maintaining his innocence throughout the whole process. He eventually served 1 year in jail, continued to maintain his innocence after leaving prison. 6 years later, the minor who had made the accusation had by then grown up, was an adult, and himself had become incarcerated. And I think the quote was, having now understood what he put Mr. Kingrey through, recanted his testimony, indicated that he had made it up. So there was a process, the process initiated available to all Virginians to seek a writ of actual innocence. That process played out. Judge Turk, who had tried the original case, familiar with its facts, held an evidentiary hearing. The recanter testified. Judge Turk reported to the Court of Appeals, as is the process, that he was convinced that indeed the original trial testimony had been fabricated. And last year, just a few months ago, actually, I think the Court of Appeals did in fact issue a writ of actual innocence. So under our process, a writ of actual innocence, a claimant can come to this body and seek compensation. These cases, you all know I've done a number of these, unfortunately, and they all have, they're just terrible stories. You're going to hear another one right behind me. I will say that the numbers shouldn't matter. The numbers are what they are. Mr. Kingrey was wrongfully incarcerated for a year. I was going to say only a year. For a year. It's a long time. There's another element to this case I want the committee to understand. It also resulted in Mr. Kingrey being on the sexual offender registry for 8 years until his writ of actual innocence. And he's here. He's going to tell you a little bit about that. But being on the sexual offender registry, of course, precluded him from. He couldn't get the job back that he had beforehand. He applied for a couple jobs, couldn't get those because he's on the registry. And to him, he's going to tell you this. Perhaps its even more important effect was he has a young son named Dylan who actually has a couple of very rare diseases that he's challenged with. Mr. Kingrey was not even allowed to go to his school. He couldn't get anywhere near a school and all those sorts of things. So my point simply is, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, that these kinds of wrongful incarcerations have profound impacts on someone's life. And that's why the legislature decided years ago that while compensating with money can't give back the time and the lost opportunities, it's how we do it. It's what we do. And with that, I will simply ask the committee to favorably consider HB 1582.
All right. Thank you, Delegate. I will note that there are amendments, line amendments, technical mainly.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to accept the line amendments. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so the bill properly amended is before us, and I think Mr. Kingrey is online. Is that correct? So if you
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. You have the floor.
Hello, and good morning to everyone. I don't know exactly how this process goes, but I would like to thank you for the time that's given to me. It's definitely a very exciting opportunity. Almost 12 years is a very long time to well, that would be the first time that I had spoken with the detective. 12 years exactly this coming October. And as Mr. Sullivan stated, it's been very emotional journey. It's not always about the individual. There's other lives that it's been affected, and I really could go and say lots of things, but I think the main thing to take into consideration is, like you said, I have my son Dylan, and he'll be 8 in April. And while I was incarcerated, I actually got a week furlough to be there for the birth of him. About a few months after his second birthday, he started having seizures. And unfortunately fortunately now he hasn't had a seizure in about 7 months. But he's got many health impairments, 2 rare diseases, Lennox-Gastaut syndrome and creatine transporter deficiency. And like Mr. Sullivan stated, it has been not only the effects of trying to not being able to go to school, but the effects of his overall care. To put it into terms, I was asked to try to put this into words, and I couldn't really think of any. But this right here, if everyone has something that they hold dear, that they care about, and if you would think about it just for a moment of how it would impact you if the worst thing that could happen would happen. That's really the feeling that I have. Because not being able to control, it's one thing to be put in a situation that you could control, but it's a whole different meaning when you're placed here under false pretenses and chose down there, because I did have a good job with benefits, and I would have been able to provide a better home for Dylan, because he's so where there really ain't no words. He's nonverbal. He's a high risk of elopement. We live really close to, I call it the Autobahn. It might as well be. It's a major highway, but he has to sleep in an enclosed bed. This is really and truly the heartbreaking part of this. It's not about me. It's about the Commonwealth of Virginia took me away, and they left me hanging out to dry. Really, if it wasn't for the good nature of these individuals that are standing in front of you and abroad, I don't know where I would be. But I just ask that I just need the compensation for one thing and one thing only, and that's to provide a home for my son so he could stay with us. I can't express it enough how heartbreaking it is to watch him. I've seen him have 154 seizures in a day, and I've been, we have fought and we fight, but to know that no one has a blessed assurance of any of days on this earth, but to know his conditions definitely limited his years on this earth, according, to his other peers. I want his life to be as happy and healthy and safe as possible. And this would be a great start to be awarded the year of compensation. But the years, 26 court appearances before I was even on trial, maintaining after I was looking at 80 years, I've always stood on the truth. And even my friend, Mr. Kellerman, the lawyer, thought we had lost it. I said, we've never lost it. Went into overtime. And right here is the first day that, thank you for the opportunity, because this is the exciting moment for me, because I know that we're actually going to be able to start at least getting him a place here put on our land that would keep him home, keep him safe. And I don't want to take up no more of your time.
Mr. King, yeah, thank you so much for the testimony. And about the only thing we could say is, we are sorry for everything that has happened. And I hope this will be just I hate to say it's a token, but it's the process that we've got set up. So we're so
Yes,
sorry,
sir.
and we will take motions on the bill.
Thank you.
Yes, I second that motion with amendments.
All right, so with the bill, House Bill 1582 is properly before us, properly amended. All in favor, we'll go to the voting board. The bill reports 8-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Appreciate your time.